If you're a creator frustrated with how long it's taking you to build an audience in order to generate the revenue that you need to actually become a full-time creator, what I want to do in this video is walk you through a super simple $10 a day ad strategy that I help creators implement. And it's the same system that I use to go from zero to $2 million a year as a creator. And it's so simple to set up that you can actually get it working within the next couple hours. But there's one cardinal sin that a lot of creators make when they're starting to explore paid ads. And it's the same mistake that I made when I started running paid ads too. When I started my creator journey, I tried to do it all organically. The whole thing, I just was posting on LinkedIn, posting on Twitter. Months after trying to do that with my wife getting angry at me because I was actually trying to be a full-time creator. I had already quit my job and just wasn't really making as much as I should. Totally don't blame her for that. I realized that I needed to figure something else out. And so I had to find an ad strategy in order to generate the clients that I needed in order to feed my family and support my kids and do all those other things. What I did was I made a huge mistake, and it has to do with the way that you look at your audience. Now, when you run ads on any platform, you can either run ads to a cold audience or to a warm audience. Now, in ad platform terms, we need to think about it differently than the way that you would traditionally think about cold and warm audience. When I think of cold and warm from an ad platform perspective, cold means 100% strangers. They don't know you, they never interacted with you before, they've never visited your website or anything like that. Whereas warm, they've had some level of interaction with you. And there's a lot of ways that ad platforms define what that interaction actually means. It could be website visits, it could be video views, it could be clicks on an ad. It could be email subscribers that you have. Doesn't really matter what it is. Now, what I did when I first started out as a creator was I didn't really have a choice. And a lot of you thinking this probably feel like you don't have a choice either. Well, I don't have an audience. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go ahead and start running ads to the cold audience, because who else am I going to target? I don't have a bunch of people visiting my website. I don't have a bunch of people viewing my videos yet. I don't have a bunch of clicks to anything. I don't have a big email list or anything like that. And I was the same way. I didn't have any of that stuff. But what this does is you are going to be spending a large amount of money on this, especially if you're not really that good at ads just yet. If you haven't learned how to really perfect the targeting and perfect the creative and understand the way the Facebook or Meta or any of the ad algorithms work, the way that you are trying to learn how any of the social media platforms work when it comes to what content they're going to push for you. However much you feel like you need to learn on the organic content side, there's probably just as much you need to know about the ad side if you're running cold ads to a cold audience. Now, I tried to do that. And I remember what I was spending because I was trying to get people to book a call with me. I was trying to provide a service to them. I was spending probably $300 to $500 per call. A lot of you on here, like, there's no way I can ever do that. And I totally get it. But the reason why I had to do that was because I didn't know any better. I hadn't learned enough over time on what I could have done differently. And I didn't learn the strategy that I'm about to teach you right now until probably over a year later, and a lot of wasted money. So what you should do instead is a strategy I'm going to teach you today. Because yes, you don't have an audience. You don't have an email list. You don't have website visits or views or clicks or any of that stuff, but you can get them. Not by posting organically, but by setting up your campaign as sort of a self-feeding loop. Because the way this strategy works is we have two different ads. We have ad one and we have ad two. Now, what ad one is designed to do is to build your audience. Now, I'm not saying build your audience in terms of email list subscribers or anything like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, build your audience on the ad platform that you are going to be running your ads on. So for example, what we'd want is to have usually 3 different videos that we run, and the campaign objective that we're going to be running for is video views. Now, there's a lot of different campaign objectives you can have when you're running on any of the ad platforms. Personally, for me, I always have creators start off running ads on Meta. Yes, you can run ads on YouTube. Yes, you can run ads on TikTok. Yes, you can run ads on Reddit and Quora. And I've tried all of those. I've spent millions of dollars on paid ads. Meta is the easiest one, and it's also the lowest cost. So the amount of error that you would have if you mess something up or do something wrong is so small. It also requires the lowest amount of budget to get the largest amount of reach. And the targeting mechanisms that come with Facebook and Instagram slash Meta is insane. You can drill down so specifically. I remember running an campaign for a woman. She was a creator, and she had a program for women who were postpartum and dealing with like very specific medical conditions. And on a lot of ad platforms, it would be slightly difficult to target. Maybe on YouTube, you can target videos that have to do with, you know, the kinds of things that women would watch if they're dealing with that stuff. But on Facebook, we could literally say, I want to target a woman who's had a kid in the last, 3 months, or whose kid is this old and who lives in this location, who makes this much money, who shops online at these different places. You can get insanely granular with the level of targeting that you do. Now, that being said, you could mess it up, which is why I don't like having creators go straight to running ads to a cold audience, because then you're relying on your skill set in terms of figuring out what targeting you should use in order to determine whether your ad campaign is going to be successful. So instead, what I like to do is, sure, let's target a cold audience, but let's target a cold audience with video views. Now, why video views? Well, because video views are cheap. When you're talking about running ads on an ad platform like Meta, when you're creating an ad campaign, you have a couple different options in terms of what you can do. You can run ads at the campaign level where you set the objective to be video views. I'm running this ad. I'm not trying to get people to sign up for an email list. I'm not trying to get them to buy a product, at least not yet. I just want them to watch my video, usually between 3 to 10 seconds of the video that I have in their feed. You can run ads for conversions. So that would be like, okay, I want to run an ad to have somebody sign up for my email list or buy my product or sign up for the workshop or whatever other thing that you have. You're essentially telling the ad platforms, I want you to present my ad to somebody who's most likely to convert. Then you can run ads for DMs, right? I want to run an ad and I want those people to see it who are most likely to click on it and have a conversation with me in Messenger. Well, Facebook and Meta and YouTube and all these, they understand the value that comes with these different conversion events. And so they attribute a value to those events. Maybe not explicitly. It's not like they're going to tell you how much a video view will cost up front or how much a conversion will cost up front. But in your mind, you have to understand that when you're talking about video views, these are very inexpensive. Most of the time when you talk about running ads for video views, you're probably going to be getting video views for somewhere around 5 to maybe 10 cents per view. For conversions, these are going to be the most expensive types of ads that you can run, especially if you're running them to a cold audience. And I've seen them range from anywhere from $10 on the low end, maybe a little bit less than that, all the way up to $300, like in the situation that I was in, right? And then you have DMs. These are usually a little bit less expensive, but these are going to be still relatively expensive and probably more than what we want to spend when we're just starting out. And also it's a little bit unnecessary, especially after I explain to you this strategy, you'll see why it makes sense. But because of this and the costs that are associated with these, we want to try to build our audience and then retarget them to our actual offer. So to go back to this strategy here, what we're going to do is we're going to have ad number 1. And all we're going to do is run ads for video views. Now, what we're going to do next after that is anybody who watches these videos, we are then going to target them with ad number 2. And ad number 2 is going to be basically your offer, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be your ebook. It could be your course, it could be your coaching program, it could be anything really, it doesn't matter. Now, for me, I always have a preference with the creators I work with to do something that's a little bit higher ticket because the unit economics of running paid ads makes a lot more sense when you can have an offer where you're charging at least 1K for it. But either way, the reason this works so well is because of the flywheel effect that comes with it. Because as these videos run, this one, and however many more you want to do, some creators that I work with start like basically every month they'll recycle and create 3 more new videos. But these are just regular shorts, regular videos. Usually they're between 10 seconds and 90 seconds long. And it's just something that calls out directly to your ideal audience. The goal with these videos is to do nothing more than to get your ideal audience to watch at least 10 seconds of the video. That's it. That's the only job that you have. And alternatively, the goal is to get the people who aren't your ideal audience to swipe past it almost immediately. Because what's going to happen, and what the ad platforms are doing with this, is they are building your audience for you. So if I have a fitness offer, for example, and my whole shtick is that I help men over 50 get a six pack. Okay. Well, sure, I can run a cold traffic campaign and directly to whatever offer that I have and try to get the targeting right, but that's going to be difficult because you can do age targeting on Facebook and Meta, but it's a little bit restrictive. And it's restrictive on every platform because they don't want you basically stereotyping people, right? Can I target just men? Yeah, I could target just men. Okay, scratch that off the list. Can I target men who are married? Sure. But then beyond that, in terms of fitness stuff, there's a lot of different types of fitness things that you can use to target men, but it's going to be very hard for me to get it exactly right to the point where I know and I'm confident that I'm not wasting money running ads completely to a cold traffic if I'm running ads for a campaign like conversions. But if I'm running ads for video views and I tell Facebook, look, here's these ads. I want you to target men who are interested in fitness and just go do your thing. My goal that I have for you, Facebook, is to try to get as many people to watch at least 10 seconds of that ad that I'm running as humanly possible. Well, what's Facebook going to do in that situation? Well, they're going to do their best because they want your money and they want you to keep spending money on their platform to show your ad to as many people who that content is in line with. So as people start watching the video and Facebook starts seeing who swipes past it and doesn't watch it at all, who watches it for 5 seconds and then leaves, 10 seconds and leaves, 60 seconds and leaves, who watches the whole thing and then go visit your profile, all that stuff that Facebook and Meta are learning, what it's doing is it's basically building up your audience. Every single day, every single person who watches at least 10 seconds of the video, and if you don't think 10 seconds is a long time, go to your feed, Reels, or whatever it is that you use, and watch a video for 10 seconds that you are not interested in at all. Like it's not meant for you and you just ended up getting it on your feed. Watch it for 10 seconds and see how long that is. For you to build up an audience here of people who watch it for 10 seconds, that is a group of people who are your ideal prospect, customers, viewers, email subscribers, whoever it ends up being. So as you build up this group and you start building up that audience, what we then want to do is present that group of people with your offer. So if we go here, we say, okay, I have this video here, this video, and this video. And for all these videos, I'm spending $5 a day. Not for each, total. And if I'm spending $5 a day on these videos, what I'm going to end up having, let's say we have, I don't know, let's say 10 days goes by. And over the course of 10 days, we have spent $50. And if we go back up and look at the metrics that we were looking at before, where we're going to be spending about 5 to 10 cents, let's say the higher end, just to play it safe, right? So we have 10 cents per view. So if I'm spending $50, for every dollar I'm getting 10 views, 10 times 50, 500. So now I have 500, not just views. Remember, we're not just getting views here. We have 500 people in our audience now. And that's going to keep growing every day. Every day that I spend $5, I'm adding on to this audience over and over and over again. People will stay on this audience. The way that most ad platforms work, Meta included, is people will stay within this audience for 180 days. So for 180 days after they watch at least 10 seconds of one of your videos, you are going to have the opportunity to retarget those people with your ads. And so now over here, I want to spend $5 a day on retargeting these people with an ad. It could be a video, it could be anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. But I'm going to then push this ad to that audience that continues to grow every day. And so now they went from seeing my content and probably continuing to see it, because if they watched 10 seconds of one of my videos, Facebook's going to say, or Meta's going to say, oh, okay, you must be interested in this person. Whatever other content, including organic content that they publish, I'm going to try to push that in front of you because you must like it. You watch 10 seconds of their ad. Why wouldn't you watch 10 seconds of a different one of their ads or 10 seconds of their organic content or whatever? So this audience continues to grow every day. And now what I can do is, as they're seeing my ads for my content, they are also getting added to my audience, whether they're on my email list or not. And so now what I can do is I can present them with an offer to sign up for my course, sign up for my, buy my ebook, get on a sales call with me to talk about my high ticket offer, whatever it ends up being. But now I have this flywheel effect where every day I can spend $5 a day to get my audience to grow without worrying about YouTube algorithms or anything like that. And I could spend $5 a day on retargeting to that audience who is already at least a little bit warm, but also very cheap. Because when you run retargeting ads on Meta, you're targeting such a small audience, and you're also not competing with as many people because this is now your own audience, that the costs are much lower. So whereas up here, if I ran this same ad, this one right here, if I ran this ad over here to my offer, right? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm running an ad to my offer over here. But in this situation, I'm running it to the audience I'm building through this campaign over here. If I try to do this same offer, copy, headline, everything exactly the same, but I was running it completely cold to a cold audience up here, I would be spending a lot for it because it's cold. They don't know me. I'm not trying to get back in front of somebody that already interacted with me. I'm trying to get in front of somebody and paying Facebook or Meta to get in front of complete strangers who don't know anything about me. Now, long term, do you want to run cold traffic ads directly to your offer? Sure. There's a lot of creators that I work with who do exactly that. I ended up doing exactly that too. And that's what pushed my business beyond doing 50K a month to doing 250K a month. But when I'm just starting out and I don't have a big budget, I don't want to play the game that the ad platforms want me to play. I want to gamify the system a little bit and say, you know what, I'm going to build out this flywheel where when I get somebody to view one of my videos, they get added to my audience and then they see my offer. And I just keep this going over and over again. Now they're going to keep seeing, because they interact with my offer or they interact with my videos, they're going to keep getting my ads over and over and over and over again until they finally decide to make a decision. They're not going to be annoyed by it. You've probably seen a million ads from the same people, the same creators. It doesn't really matter. And at some point, you probably, whatever it was, decided to finally one day take action and do something about it, right? But this $10 a day strategy is exactly what I use, and it's insanely simple to perform. If you're curious about whether your niche would work with this, or whether this strategy would work for you based on your unique situation or whatever, do me a favor and just comment down below and tell me as much as you can about the situation that you're in, because there hasn't been a creator that I've worked with yet, and I've spent millions on paid ads for myself and for other creators, some of them who were doing 250, 500K, some of them were doing $30 million a year using a strategy very similar to this. I haven't once seen a situation where this didn't work. Now, do you have to get the copy right? Yes. Do you have to get the initial targeting at least close enough to let Meta understand what you're doing? Yes. But regardless of all that, it's really not a complicated thing to set up. You just have to take the initiative to say, am I willing to invest in myself to start growing my audience and start growing my business? Or am I willing to wait 6, 12, 18 months to build an audience before I start generating any revenue? This process here massively speeds up what it's going to take you to do in order to get to the point where you're able to support yourself as a creator.